second recording for Unit 1 is going to cover example problems for the significant figures rules. So if you are watching this and you haven't watched the first video that talks about the significant figure rules, you may want to go back and try those again. But you're going to need a calculator, and we're going to just go through here real quick and explain some of these. So example problem 1 is pretty straightforward, just wants us to figure out how many significant figures are in the following numbers. So on A here, the one thing that you need to notice is there is no decimal point. Now there are zeros to the right, which those could or could not be significant, but in this case there isn't a decimal point, so this has 2 significant figures. Okay, this next one, I have zeros in the front and zeros at the end. If you remember, the zeros to the left of the number, whether or not you have a decimal point or not, doesn't really matter. Those 2 don't count. Okay, but this last one shows precision. So anything to the right of a number and there's a decimal point somewhere in the number right there, then those 3 at the end count. So this one has 3 significant figures. All right, C, you've got a lot of zeros here. We've got 2 in the middle. Those are going to count because they come between 2 digits. And then I have a 0 again between the 2 and the 3, so that one counts. And then the 2 on the end. Again, these are to the right, and I do have a decimal point in that number, so all of those count. So let's see here, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 significant figures. Okay, next up, D, I have a decimal point, and again, I see this 0 is off to the right. So hopefully you guessed it, 3 sig figs. And finally, the last one. I have 9, 1, and 5. We know that those all are. And again, these 3 zeros are to the right, and there is a decimal point, so all of those count. So we have 6 sig figs. All right, let's try example problem number 2. If I can get this to kind of fit all of the wording. Yeah, good enough. So solve the following problems and convert the numbers to proper number of sig figs. Okay, now first thing I notice is this is an addition problem. So if we're doing addition, that means we're going to the least precise. So the rules are different. And so you're going to grab your calculator and you're going to put 8.450 plus 4.5. And the calculator tells us it's 12.95. All right, so let's talk about sig fig rules here. So least precise, when we're talking about addition, I have 3 digits to the right here and only 1 digit to the right here. So this answer needs to be rounded up. So this 5 needs to go away, but that 5 is going to round that 9 up. So here's what this is going to turn into. 13.0. The reason why is that 5 rounds this 9 up, which makes this 13, but again, our sig fig rules say I have to go ahead and include that 0 in the 10th place. Okay, next one. This one is multiplied, so the rules are different. This one is how many significant digits do they have? This first number has 2 significant digits. This one, there's a decimal point there, so I have 4. So my answer can only have 2 significant digits. So let's first just put it in the calculator. And my calculator says the answer to this is 19.136. Okay, but again, because this is multiplied, I need to round this to 2 significant digits. So the first 2 are the 1 and the 9. That means I have to get rid of the 1, 3, and 6. Okay, so my answer is 19. Okay, all right, next one up is a subtraction problem. So that means I'm following the same rules as addition. That is the least precise. So again, we're going to just stick this in our calculator. So 19.07 minus 9.9, and the calculator says 9.17. Okay, I have 2 digits to the right on this one, and I only have 1 digit to the right there. So that means the 7 has to go away. But again, don't forget that 7's higher than 4, so I have to round this up. The answer here is actually 9.1. 12 divided by 0.04500. Calculator gives me 266.666 repeating. Okay. All right, so this is multiplication division. That means I'm going by the least number of sig figs. So I have 2 here, and then I have 4 here. So I have to round this to 2 significant digits. So let me see here if I can highlight to where there. Okay, these have to go away, but this 6 is also going to round this up. Now, don't be tricked here. This is not 27, okay? You can't just take an answer here that's almost 270 and whittle it down to 27. But what you have to do is put a 0 there and don't put a decimal point. I need 2 significant digits in this problem, and yet I have to represent the magnitude of this number. So 270 with no decimal point has 2 sig figs and rounds this to the proper spot. Okay, last one. 1200 times 3. So the calculator is going to give me 3600, but I have 4 significant digits here, but I only have 1 here. So that means these 3 gotta go. This 6 is going to round that 3 up, and I'm going to get an answer of 4,000. All right, so I have 1 significant digit, and yet I'm representing the magnitude of this number. I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you again on video 3.